Live? Yes, I'm live. Woo, that was a doozy, man. I was having a hard time going live streaming here. Always technical difficulties. I'm going to check my Facebook to make sure that we are live. If you hear my dog Espen in the background, he's always barking at the mailman. But anyways, happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome to Alive and Streaming. And my guest here, I've been wanting them for a while, but schedules always seem to mess up. I have Cody and Nick Souza from Hatriot. So let's bring these guys in here. Where are they?
What's happening?
Cody.
How are you, Mr. Ted?
And Nick, what's up, guys?
Uncle Ted. Anyone that's been a friend for a long time gets the uncle card.
Yeah. Dude, it was funny. Right when I was gonna go live, I was like, man, my stream's not working. What's up? And I had to go, well, hold on, guys. You know how. Come on, man. You know technology, but you guys grew up with technology, man.
Dude, yeah, we try as best we can. And, we do our little Twitch cast and our podcast on the weekly and stuff. And we were talking about on the pre-show. It's like pirate radio, man. Everyone knows there's going to be blips. Everyone knows, but
yeah.
We got you. It's going to be solid and everything. And we're just excited to be here, man. Thank you for giving us a chance to come chat with you and all your viewers. So
no, man, thank you. I mean, I've been talking to your dad. It's just, the scheduling. I know Nick here, the busiest man, I've been trying to schedule it with him, and you, Cody, are like, dude, when? I wake up in the middle of the night. I'll set my alarm, but Nick's like, hey man, I'm busy. Drum tracks, work, all that.
I have a little rambunctious 2-year-old running around, and between the band and thank you. And I also do wrestling too. So man, I'm doing something every day of the week. So
that's awesome, dude. But guys, thank you for taking time on Saturday. I know you guys are in the middle of recording your brand new record, which I want to get into. But what I do want to talk about is you two, actually. I mean,
cool
guys in Hatriot, and your dad's a legend. If people don't know who their dad is, it's Zetro from Exodus. And I do want to talk about you guys growing up with your dad and, you guys are young. I mean, wait, Nick, if I'm correct, you were born in 93.
93, end of 93.
Cody, when were you born?
90.
So you kind of saw your dad, Cody, went towards the end of Exodus. Vaguely remember, you were probably an infant.
Yeah.
But Nick, you didn't experience any of that stuff, right?
No, yeah. Growing up, he was just always soccer coach or just dad or working his construction job. And then, later on when I became like 7 or 8, that's when he started getting back into Exodus and doing that. And I really got to see, how big it was and stuff. And yeah, it was definitely neat.
Did that trip you guys out?
It was always like there was always posters and stuff, but continue, sorry.
Oh yeah, it was probably posters like, "Hey, Dad, what's with this Exodus trip? Are you a fan or what's going on?"
Yeah.
No, did it trip you out? I mean, like you said, you only knew him as a soccer dad. He worked a day job, and all of a sudden, I guess, boom! I guess it was Thrash of the Titans where you actually witnessed this huge thing, and you're like, "That's Dad,
dude." Yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
Tell me about your thoughts on that, man. I mean, that must have been a trip.
Yeah, I mean, Thrash against Thrash of the Titans. That was like one of the, some people say, the most mega show that's ever been assembled in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
And me and my brother were there as little youngins, and you remember running around backstage, running up and down the stairs, running across, I believe, the actual stage. I remember during Exodus's set, my dad, obviously Bailoff was singing at the time.
That's right.
My dad pulled us on stage. I think he was doing one of the songs, and I can't remember which at the moment, but I was rather shy. And my brother, however old you were, Nick, comes up to the crowd and flips him off really quick.
Yeah.
And it was
my dad's all flip off the crowd. And so he kind of held me up and flipping off everyone, 7 years old.
and historically being, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that was your first set with Death Angel DA as well, right? So
yeah, my first show with Death Angel 20 years ago. Oh my God,
20 years, dude.
Wow.
Nuts, right?
Yeah,
so we were on the side of the stage. We saw that. I mean, it was me, my brother, Cody Billy, Chuck Billy's son, and Nathan Allen, I believe, right, Nick? And we were on the side of the stage, and it was kind of a safe spot we could be with the guard right there and the stage manager there, and then everyone can kind of do their thing. But I remember watching you guys rock out, watching Billy Milano coming over and spitting water on us. It was rather funny. But yeah, an epic night to see him MC that, but then him also to sing with Legacy that night because Chuck it was not Testament playing, it was Legacy. And then also to see him guest song with a few Exodus songs. It was crazy. I mean, to the point embarrassingly after being so young, I was like, Dad, how come you don't have any pictures of Bailoff hanging on the walls? It's like, well, son, it doesn't work like that. And so, but yeah, so
no, it's cool. Being young, I think we were always aware that he was in the band, obviously from the posters, and he'd have conversations and bring friends over the house. But definitely that night at Thrash of the Titans, it was like, whoa, you aren't in just some like little cover bar band where it's like 30 people show up. It's actually like this big production with a lot of mutual respect going around. And yeah, from there it kind of opened up this whole new chapter in our lives, and that started like the second wave of thrash metal in the Bay Area. I feel like that night.
I think so. Now, did that show kind of inspire you to pick up instruments or to think about going in that direction of your dad?
I think for me, it did at that point. I was a little older than Nicholas, and I say like my stint in music. I don't know if he can recall this correctly as I can. Is Pops? I kind of got into it right when he got back into Exodus shortly after Bailoff's passing. Rest in peace, right? Yeah. It was the Disneyland trip. We're actually in Disneyland, and my Pops played a show. They happened to have one booked in Anaheim. It was a very weird event. But then after that, I got really into like Sum 41 and Blink 182, and I wanted to be like a bubblegum pop punk bass player. You know what I mean? And
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong,
right? So I got really into that, and then that's when that was our obviously Slayer was everything your guys' stuff. It was all always there, but it was what the user was actually into, right? The child was into, and I ended up getting into bubblegum pop punk, and then that turned into Slipknot, and then that's kind of when Nick started playing, and it ties into something else that we saw you in early was backstage at the Regency when we saw Slipknot that evening. Do you recall that evening taking those photos with us with Joey Jordison and Mick and whatnot?
You know what? I remember that show. It was in 2004. It was Slipknot, Fear Factory, Chimera.
Yep.
Downstairs, it was Killswitch Engage and In Flames. Two shows going on at the same time.
Right.
That's recognize.
Right.
Memory.
There you go.
It's the T.
Oh, wow.
It's the T. Because on your interview with your dad, Nick, you forgot. You were like, I think it. But there was two shows going on at the same time.
Yeah. But I think, and then I'll segue that into Nick. That's when I started getting, Paul Gray, and I started getting really heavy. Jack Gibson had now gifted me a bass at that point. It wasn't just some hand-me-down I was playing with. And I think Joey was the reason Nick started drumming, and that was a recent post of his. He can take from there. I mean, if we're still going on that.
No, definitely. I mean, after the Thrash of the Titans night, it was always like, this is cool. This is something cool my dad does. And then, a year later, Cody picks up the bass, and I'm like, I was thinking about playing an instrument and stuff. And I do remember my dad saying like, I'm a singer. Cody plays bass, and there's way too many guitar players out there. So how about drums? And I was like, all right, that sounds good. That was kind of an early thought. And then I don't know, man, seeing Slipknot that night and getting into them and getting to hang out with them, I was like, dude, Joey Jordison's crazy. I want to be just like him. Like, and he was so cool to me. Like, when we were hanging out with him backstage, it wasn't just like a, hey kid kind of deal. He's actually interested in asking me questions and, how my life was going and that kind of thing. So I was
surreal too, to be dropping Ted's name too. I mean, going back to school on Monday, I was like, me and Ted and Death Angel were hanging out, and Joey Jordison, and like now to be doing this podcast with you though is like just surreal. You know what I mean? So
dude, I'm stoked, man. I'm stoked.
So.
But I mean, did you guys ever freak out like meeting the guys in Slipknot and knowing they're fans of your dad?
So that was a trip to us. You always got a kick out.
I always got a kick out of that. I was always like, that's so cool. Cause like at the time, 04, 05, Exodus, they were good. They were big. They had, a good name to them. They were known as like legends or whatever, but they were still playing kind of smaller venues and that kind of thing. And Slipknot was selling out Regency, doing, headlining Shoreline. And it was like, man, these guys like take my dad as influences. That's rad. So it's like, I kind of found my place in there somewhere. I'm like, well, that's my dad, and that's my favorite band. So it felt like, one of those kind of things.
Now you can walk around. My dad's a credit card. He could get me into any show.
Oh shit! I know. We always had to try that before a ticket when we were broke. Now I collect, and then the motto is everyone buy a ticket nowadays. Buy a ticket, buy a shirt. Buy a ticket, buy a shirt. I went to Ex Mortis, did the same. Did the Lich King did the same? Buy a ticket, buy a shirt. That's the best thing you can do for your friends in the industry. Right?
Exactly. You got to make the money go round. You know what I mean? And it's good karma. Now, when you guys went to school, having to did you ever get that friends whose dads are fans of your dad's band? Like,
Oh yeah.
dude, my dad
Yeah.
loves your dad's band. What's up? And they want to
Dude.
hang out and all that stuff. You know,
Yeah.
that must be pretty cool. I mean, I grew up differently. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you guys, I like stories like that. You know what I mean? It makes me feel good. Like, fuck
Dude.
yeah.
Yeah. So I had one where I had a friend, his uncle was really into Exodus, right? Talked it up, you know. And I was like, all right, his uncle's in town. Pops, can you please come talk? He's like, all right, kid can come over and come talk to me, right? His
Yeah.
uncle comes in. First thing he says, bro, I want my money back from Force of Habit. I'm like, oh, fucking asshole. Like, really sorry if I'm swearing. I don't know. We're trying to
No,
keep
no,
this,
that's
but-
okay, dude.
All right,
Wow,
the
dude.
wow, you know,
But
heavy
it's funny.
metal.
It's funny you bring up Force of Habit. I had John Tempesta last week, and dude, the songs. I grew to love the songs. I thought the production's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and I talked to John about it. He goes, "Yeah, it's different, but that's where we were at the time, and I totally get it." You know what I mean? Now I want to talk about, you know, your dad being an influence. You guys are in Hatriot, but your dad formed Hatriot, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. And how did you guys end up in Hatriot? Because I thought that was super cool that Zet's playing with his sons, and you know, just that father-son bond and doing it through music. It's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. And I think Nick can kick this off. Really, I was in the earlier conceptions. I was one of the last pieces, actually, even though the only bass player I've seen the stage kind of put together. But really, it was Costa, my brother, and Nick, and I'll let him take it from there. They met at one of our shows that, you know, we used to hang out with you at Bourbon Street at Oscar Eye. We all met at an Oscar Eye, and then with the band that Costa was in, Cranial Damage at the time, and then my brother can take it from there. So
yeah, so we had this. First off, my dad didn't really know how to use the internet that well, so I used to pose as my dad on MySpace to try to nothing for any malicious reasons, only just tried to get my band Oscar Eye, and I was in another band called Knuckle Duster shows. So I met this gentleman from Modesto, Mike Vanek, and they had a really, really killer scene out there. Like they were getting, I know you just interviewed like Bonded by Blood. They had like Bonded by Blood, Witch Haven, Ex Mortis, Havoc. Like he was getting like on a bi-monthly basis, like great bands and stuff, Laws Rocket, Sadus. And so I would message him, you know, being my dad, hey, can you throw my son a bone? And, you know, could you get him on the bill? And of course he was like, you know, kind of starstruck, I guess. And it's like, yeah, no problem. We'll fit him in, you know, in the bill, no problem, that kind of thing.
That's gangster, dude.
Yeah,
Using your dad like I'm malicious. What's up? I'm a young kid.
So then he kept on getting us shows, and this had happened, you know, for about 3 or 4 months until, and I did tell my dad, and he didn't mind I was doing that actually, but I could tell the promoter, Mike, was getting a little fishy. He's like, you know, your dad's off messaging me awfully, you know, a bunch, but he never ever comes down to these shows. Like, can you bring him down? I was like, yeah, no problem. So I remember we were playing with Hyrax and Sadus.
That's a good bill.
Yeah, it was great. It was
bill.
Cranial Damage. My band I was in, Knuckle Duster, which was like a hokey kind of Rob Zombie sounding band. And so that was Cranial Damage, us, and then Hyrax and Sadus. And so I convinced my dad, like, dude, you have to come. Like, the promoter's been asking, like, you have to be there. So then he shows up, and he sees Costa with Cranial Damage, his first band.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, this kid is fucking unbelievable. Like, he is such an amazing guitar player.
He's a shredder, man.
He's a shredder. And like, before the show, Costa was kind of like venting to me saying, you know, I'm not really happy in this band and I don't really get along with these guys. Like, I kind of want to form something new. And I just remember telling him, like, dude, you guys are great. You guys are like the best Modesto band. Like, just keep doing it. And then, I don't know, he had his sights on leaving the band. So kind of, you know, going into there, I was like, well, I'm not really happy in my band either. So I called him out a week or two later. I'm like, dude, let's start jamming. Like, and I told my dad, I called, you know, that Costa kid, and, you know, he's like, yeah, I think that's great for you. He lived in Modesto. I was living in Livermore at the time. So we'd go in my garage in Livermore and jam. And then, yeah, my dad's like, man, you know, I do Double Death Patrol, but we're not that busy. And he had just done that Tenet album with Gene Hoglan, Glenn Avalage, Jed Simon. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh, I do remember. I have some early recordings. It's really good. I'm surprised it didn't hit. You know,
no, I agree too. I think
different for
toured
for its time too.
But they weren't touring or really necessarily doing anything. So he was itching to get into music. So me and Costa had wrote like 2 or 3 songs. And then I remember one day I came in and Costa left. He goes, I think I'm going to sing on this project. I think I want to sing on this. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, I think that's a great idea. And that's kind of where the early inception of Hatriot came along. I ended up having to like, you know, I was 16 years old at the time, still haven't got my license or my first job, you know, and just doing all the stupid 16-year-old partying kind of stuff. So I ended up kind of fading away. And Hatriot got Alex Bent, who plays drums in Trivium now.
And he played in Battlecross and Dragon Lord. Look at that.
Yeah,
Dragon Lord and
not
Archaic too. Archaic out of the Central Valley. They're pretty different. Yeah.
But that's kind of where I left and Cody kind of came in. It was like a, you know, at the same time. So Cody, if you want to take over.
On that.
Yeah.
But,
Cody, if you want to.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was, you know, me, Pops, Costa, a revolving rhythm guitar player that's always been changing on and off. And then Alex Bent. Yeah. And we pretty much got the whole album ready to go. And another change happened. Alex left and my brother was in the band, what, a month, Nick? You had to relearn all the songs.
A month or two. Yeah.
We immediately went back into the studio with Juan Ortega and recorded our first album with our father, Heroes of Origin. So that one came out and it was like Zetro's first hurrah, new Exodus throwing out there, a lot of nepotism. His boys are in there, you know, this and that, the haters, you know, all surface. And, you know, through that, we cycled through the album process, you know, went to Europe on our only Europe stint right now. On that one, we went to a week or two out in Belgium and Holland. We actually got to play with you guys over at the FNR.
Eindhoven Metal Meeting.
Eindhoven Metal Meeting. It was it was good to see our uncles across seas. It's like we know somebody will walk up and like have a beer with you guys because it's like
that was December of 2013.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, you are on point, bro. This guy
recognized, dude.
Dream Calls for Blood.
Dream Calls for Blood.
I
remember you guys hanging out in our dressing room. I was like, oh, Hatriot's here. And your dad's all, hey, what's up, man? What's going on?
Typical pops.
But going back a little, Nick, you left, but you had to try out again. Your dad made you try out. What's up with that, dude?
Yeah, well, the thing about it is you know, I hadn't really played in bands for those past 2 years. I was kind of just, you know, jamming in a studio or garage by myself. So he's like, I don't know if you still have the capability, you know, just being honest and stuff. And I remember like just before I tried out, Hatriot had tried out like 2 other drummers and they just weren't clicking really. And he's like, you know, he told me, because I remember I came to one of their rehearsals one time and this drummer, I won't say his name, he was like really, really struggling. And then they kind of took a break. And then I look at Costa, I was like, no, it's kind of like this, right? And then I played like how the beat was supposed to go
during this guy's tryout.
Wow.
What a dick. No, and then
and he showed up, dude, at the tryout. He looks over like this 16-year-old, 17, how old at that
18,
point?
I was
18-year-old,
sorry.
Yeah.
So then Costa kind of looks at me like, dude, try out. Like, come on, man. Like, buckle down and do this. So then I went to the studio, just hammered like 3 hours a day, all the Hatriot songs by myself. And then came the tryout and I came down there and nailed the songs. I felt well enough to where, you know, I got the gig. They didn't tell me I got the gig for the first few weeks or month or whatever, but I ended up getting the gig. So
that's really cool. I mean, I have to give props to your dad. He just didn't go, he's my son, he's gonna come in. No, he just, you know, made you try out. That's kind of like a good way of teaching you, like, you gotta earn it. You gotta earn it, man.
He didn't want to sell nepotism for sure. I mean, of course, people are going to say there is some, regardless, right? But we had to hold our own, definitely. So,
well, hey, man, that's a good dude. You guys are a product of good parenting, right there. You know what I mean, I have to give it to you. Album with your dad. You do some shows and touring. Is it? I'm trying to figure out here. Were you able to separate father and son when you're going out on tour, or is it still father and son? You know what I mean? It's just like, was he like more
it
like?
Was like you knew you had someone on your, like someone close to you under your wing, right? So everything was going to be okay. But like, also there's that aspect of father and son that he can needle you harder than anybody else, or he can not physically hit or physically hurt, right? But like, he can talk to you in ways, your dad can talk to you in ways that no one else can, right? So it's like, I heard you were late on that. You saw, we all did the Zetro voice, right?
Yeah.
That bass take was crap, and all this and all that. And he just wanted perfection out of his product. He was not an Exodus at the time. And as we kind of just said, we had to hang and had to be able to perform at that point. So,
I mean, you got
goods and bads with that. So.
Yeah, I guess goods and bads with that. But I mean, you guys, that's cool. You guys were young and you got to at least do some shows in Europe really young.
Yeah.
I mean, how was that for you going to Europe for the first time? I mean, not everyone that young could just say, dude, we record an album and one of our first shows are in Europe. Must be amazing, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's surreal and definitely a dragon. I say we continue to chase, right? And the reason we stay motivated. It's like I said, it was all perfect. It was like people were calling us the Partridge Family of metal, right? Like riding off into the sunset, fucking doing that. And then I mean, we started getting into the second album process, and then that's kind of when a piece of bubblegum got thrown in the gears a little bit for us anyways. So
no, that was cool. What happened, Cody?
Oh yeah, so we go into Dawn of the New Centurion. That's our second album, second full release with Pops as well too. I believe we tried to pull a Whitechapel on that one and released them both within 13 months of itself or something like that. It was pretty quick. We just trying to say, hey, we got product, we are hungry,
Yeah.
And that's when the major leagues kind of called Pops back up at that point, right? I believe Exodus was going through some changes, and that's when Pops had gotten a call that, hey, Exodus could be interested, yada this, yada that. Not too much information that I personally know, but I know that ultimately had happened. Yeah. And at first he double dutied it. So he was in Hatriot and Exodus, which is awesome. I'm glad that Hatriot opened that avenue for him. That's where he rightfully belongs. And we all said that, how many shows did we do with him in Exodus, Nick? Maybe one or two, maybe, or
maybe two or
any.
Three.
It was very hard. Like dates would get blocked. They were busy. I mean, they're a full-fledged, model, whatever, mammoth of a brand. So they had stuff they had to do. They had the blood in, blood out they were working on. So ultimately, I mean, we kind of talked about this in pre-show. It came to the point where me and Nick sat down and we're like, hey, we might be better off without Pops on this, right? And we actually wrote out a 3-page essay, and we titled it the Hatriot Manifesto and labeled it reasons why, hey, I think we're better off without you. We still have some growing to do, but you belong to be out there and going and doing that. This is almost a hindrance to you, let alone a hindrance to us, right? Kind of a dual make thing there. So and he agreed. That's when I stepped in as the vocalist, and he said, okay, I'll agree to this, but you need to go into the studio and track 2 of my songs. And I need to know this isn't bullshit. And I'm not passing off a torch to a turd and it's immediately going to fail. And I know you have the musicianship, but I need to hear this. So we went in with Juan again. He's always our in-town guy, Mr. Urtiga.
He's good. He's good. Yeah. He pumps out good stuff, man.
Yeah. Trident Studios out of Pacheco. I recommend everyone in the Bay Area check him out. But doing that, and we punched it and he liked it and he made the announcement and we moved forward there. That's kind of when we kind of took not a hiatus, but you and me were kind of talking earlier about I don't know if you want to lead us into that next segment or whatnot, Mr. Ted, about the education and all that kind of stuff.
I will, but let's be real here. I mean, what you just said is really political. You really kicked your dad out, didn't you? Come on, bro.
Oh yeah,
come on, dude. What you just said right now is it's the nice version, but come on, man. You really said, Dad, we're kicking you out there.
Yeah,
but it was just perfect alignment. How was you going next?
It was, what's funny too? It was like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson were moving away from their fathers' idols at that point, their fathers' movement at that point too. Because they both have professional fathers, and I'm like, we got this, Nick. We got this.
You were like, come on, man. But I think that's really cool. I mean, it had, like you said, it had to happen. It was good that you guys did something with your dad. Then things happened where you learned enough where you go, we could do this, man. We could do this. Go do your thing. We heard enough. We're going to go. Yeah. But you said you got into a hiatus because you guys, I heard, got really, really good jobs, man.
We try. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Because, I mean, I talked to you about it, Cody, like, at the Ex Mortis show, like, back in the first generation thrash, like we put all our gusto into music, then we ended up getting the jobs where you guys are the opposite. You guys went full on, I'm gonna get my career going, then I'll get my music going type deal.
Yeah, I mean, Nick, if you don't mind, I'll take off from this one again. But
that's fine.
Like I think that's one thing that a lot of people with Hatriot, we've been available. If you have wanted to know with the Souza boys or the Souza brothers or Zetro, what had happened after Zetro's departure from Hatriot, it was there. Content was coming out, demos were coming out, videos were coming out. But it was just at our own pace. We, are very fortunate in this industry, and it's, I'm 31 now. And we're moving out to the point where it's like, okay, I'm a little older. I wish I was 21 with where we're at now, but we were very diligent into solidifying our jobs, solidifying our homes, solidifying our income, being able to now spend some money on staging for Hatriot, being able to turn this full key, being able to drive this forward and not worry, man, am I gonna be able to pay my mortgage or be able to pay my rent next month? You know what I mean? I'm no wealthy man by any means, but definitely a big believer in setting up a cash flow and just having that cash flow available there so that I can press Hatriot full time like I would have wanted to when I was 21, right? Yeah. It kind of came to a point to me too where I got into the union very early. I fixed air conditioners in high rises in San Francisco. I'm one of the youngest general foremen in my industry too. So I'm kind of topped out where I can be. And it came to the point to where Hatriot was still a hobby, and I'm helping run this air conditioning company at X amount of money a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'm selling jobs and moving $40,000 parts and putting $100,000 worth of labor and selling it. And I mean, I'm like, man, if I can move these big numbers for this and be successful, how hard could this, I think it's time to turn the key in the band right now. That's when we kind of started making more of an appearance. You kind of noticed me on Twitch. You kind of see me at shows a little bit more. I've always been there. It's always been my aspiration and my love. But now that's why we're a full-blown entity, and we want everyone to know that, getting a chance to be on your podcast and share that Hatriot, we want to be another player in this game, looking to move out of the AAA leagues into the big boy leagues and get on tours and do this, and know that an educated mind that ran a company is behind this. It's not just a bunch of jamokes in a band, which I think, like I said, is a blessing in disguise. Yeah, there was a 10-year lap there, but what Father trained us to do now, full-blown machines, and I'll let Nick go into, he's got his family solidified. He's got a good management position in sales and stuff, and he's killing it right now. So
yeah.
Nick, before you start, this is really inspiring for people who are starting bands, who are very young. That's why I wanted to bring this up, so they could set themselves up too, because earlier on, us old folks, we were like, yeah, hell with that, man, let's just do the band, and all of a sudden right? Things doesn't happen. You're like, what am I doing? So what you guys are doing is great. So Nick, continue. This is really inspiring for some young people, man. It's awesome.
Oh no, definitely. Yeah. Then that was always Pops always did tell us to do that. Go out, get your career, build a good foundation for yourself. And, the music will always be there and that kind of thing, even though, we had those tendencies earlier on before we got, went to college or did any of this kind of stuff to, let's just go on the road. Let's just freaking party and do that thing. But, we
wanted to,
it was the harder route to take, just to, take life seriously. I have a son now who's 2 years old. I got a girlfriend that's pretty much my wife. We have a really nice place in Dublin. Got a dog. I have a sales position with with this company. I mean, I sell like PPE and building supplies to like Tesla, and like I have sort of different accounts. So just want to make sure the money flows there, and it, just in case this music thing doesn't work, definitely not just something to fall back on, but already a well foundation created. And with record sales and streaming being not necessarily where your cash flow comes from, it's like we talked about earlier, it's mostly from live shows and t-shirts. It's harder to make it in the industry nowadays. So and that goes for Kevin and Costa too. They both have awesome jobs as well. So really there's no weak link in this band. We're all like good dudes with that are educated with good head on our shoulders, and that's something we can definitely hang our hat on for Hatriot.
Yeah,
that is so good to hear. And I know I got a lot of listeners who's there's a band called Tornadic from Southern California, and I've talked to they're trying to come up, and their dads are helping them out. So this is really good food for thought. It's good food for thought for everyone, basically, not just young people, but older cats like myself. Now, are you in a position where the four of you, Costa, Kevin, you guys, like, you want to do music, you have your jobs, but you're at a position where you could pick and choose, like, hey man, we got an offer to go to Europe for 2 weeks, you guys could do stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
If the logistics are right and your scheduling's right, I mean, you still want to do things like that.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, we even had a talk. I mean, we're probably Nick, within the last 2 months with our bosses, like, because everything we've done now has been a fly out trip or do this really quick or backline this or go share a van with this guy or go quick rental. Like, we actually have our own little 12-seater that we got now because, I mean, we're always looking at cash flow. We want to run this. Sadly, like a business has got to make money. We got to pay bills, got to try. Right. But yes, we've had talks with all of our bosses like, hey, I might need up to 2 weeks without he say or nay. If it's more than that, it's got to be like a Death Angel tour or something. I'll make sure I clear 2 months at that point. You know what I mean? So, but what's good though is again, back to me being a young foreman and stuff, they know I'm there to help build that company too. And until the day we are on the B or C, the A or B list to live off the industry, that job may always be needed or some kind of, back way cash flow to continue your life going and not, anything be destructive or whatnot. So, yeah.
That's cool, man. Did you learn all this from like hanging with your dad and dad's friends, just seeing what they're going through? You're like, oh, nah, man, we gotta, because technology now, it's moved fast. And I do want to talk about Twitch because Cody, you're on Twitch. It's fucking, it's great. Your dad comes up and sings. And Nick, I don't know if you're on Twitch too, but there's a lot of people who are finding other avenues to generate some income. You know what I mean? So, if you want to talk about that, because I've seen your streams, they're fun, man. They're fun.
Man. I always say like, I'm like the smallest of the prospects of the crew, but like as you were on with Daniel DK. He's on Twitch. Mike Leone, Mike Leone of Soulfly, Pete Weber of Havoc. Gene Hoagland's on there. Need no introduction further, right?
And
Jason
the king. And the king, Matt Heafy.
On
Twitch.
Yeah. So what's funny about Matt Heafy's on here and then I'm on here, which is surreal too. And I always say this to Nick and my dad too, as I go, my dad's my idol. I want to be my dad. I love him. But Matt Heafy is my role model. That is a very smart businessman as far as cash flow goes, as far as the hangar with the shop. If I could run Hatriot like Trivia, I'm having one member, almost like a project manager, writing the next album as you're delivering one album because they're putting another one out within 13 months too, which is it's just crazy. But anyways, yes, the king is on there. Yeah, he kills it. But it's good, man. Even a small artist like myself, getting on there and playing cover tunes or playing our songs, or every Thursday, me, my brother, and 2 of our best friends, we got this thing called the What's Fecked Up podcast. And we get on there and we talk about what's fecked up in the world of music, video games, wrestling. I mean, things that metalheads are into. And it's definitely a way to, get a little bit of support and put new things and get new mics and stuff like that and make our brand more available. Ultimately, it's an extension of Hatriot at the end of the day, right? And that's what we're turning that key on. Whether we have a bad evening or there's a bunch of people that want to come hang out with us, I recommend anyone that's a solo musician, let alone with a band, you can be available, man. It's like, you have to wait till Friday to play the coffee shop, but you can play the coffee shop every night of the week if you want to, you know what I mean, on your page, if that makes sense. So,
and it's really good because it sets it up for when the world opens up.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So by the time you guys get out there, anyone gets out there, you're like, everyone's seen you on Twitch, but it's good, but there's nothing about the live thing. So, it gets, I've checked it out, man. It's fun. Daniel DK, Matt Heafy's, you guys. It's really cool. And, Twitch is a different type of audience. They're very supportive. So shout out to everyone on Twitch.
It's a good platform, man. Everyone's really, my dad said it almost reminds him of the Ruthie's Inn era in the Bay Area, the way that we all raid each other and everyone plays with each other and then shares and stuff, because he's like, it's almost like a second little bubble you guys got going of a metal scene happening again, which is cool. So
it's today's version of the old version.
We all hang out on the internet now and call each other.
Hey man, I got a video question from Evil Rick.
Okay.
From Santa Cruz here.
Sweet.
And let me see if hold on. Can you see Evil Rick right here?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Rick.
Let's see if my volume worked. What's up, Evil Rick? Here we go.
What's up, dude?
What's up, guys? Death Angel, Hatriot Rock. Question here for the whole Hatriot band. What would be your second option for a band name if it wasn't Hatriot? Just curious.
Crazy. Nick, you and Kevin had an idea that you were, when we when we removed Zetra, I said that as nicely as possible again, huh, Ted?
Remove Zetra. Come on, let's just be real. I know Zetra was watching. He's probably there like, they're probably telling I got fired.
There was a couple of other ideas floating around. I don't think anything that got more than like, we should do it. I was the kind of ideas got popped around. Nick, where were a few of those?
One of the names was Scarcity.
Scarcity. Yeah, there was a few popping around.
There's a few, but nothing.
Yeah, we just stick with it, man.
Hat Riot.
Hat Riot. We love Hat Riot. You know what I mean?
Hat Riot. Yeah.
Hat Riot. Hat Riot. Them Hat Riot boys out there killing it. You know what I mean? So we
Hat
love
Riot,
that,
dude. That's awesome. Oh, by the way, dude, we got a listener from Dubai listening.
Dude, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, dude.
How are you, bro?
What's up?
And I want to community is worldwide, man. We love everybody, and I just love the resurgence of what we got going on, man. It's awesome. So.
Totally, dude. Before I go on, dude, I got to give a shout out to one of my listeners who listens every Saturday religiously. It's his birthday today, Darren Diggle from Wales. What's up, Darren Diggle?
Happy birthday, Darren Diggle. Happy.
Yeah. I know he's gonna be after the stream. What he normally does, dude. This dude's super cool, man. Like, I usually have bands on that no one really knows. I like to introduce new bands, and he ends up buying them. So he's probably going to buy a bunch of your Hatriot stuff.
We just love the platform to spread the word, man. We're trying to run on all gears now, man, and get this thing going. So just waiting for this virus to end, right?
Yeah. But dude, I really like how you guys are setting yourself up, with your job and Hatriot, trying to build this thing. So you think you'll be able to do Hatriot and your full-time jobs at the same time? Like, if you think you want to get to that point?
I would love to put the full-time job down. I mean, honestly, I love it, but like, if I could do this 60 hours a week and just write music and Twitch and go on tours and do Corona collabs with people, and if it ever got to that point, man, I want to live in my father's footsteps so badly. Like, there's no words that can't describe. There's other people like Juan, or you take our sound engineer at Pacheco. He thinks, he's like, no, dude, balance both, man. Get that cash flow and get that and do that, and we could do that, but honestly, man, I would throw the big boy paycheck away to be happy and just survive, to be honest. And that goes with money doesn't mean happiness. It can help for sure. And it's going to help maybe get us there. But at the end of the day, I'm at the point in life where it's like, I don't know if I want children, and I'm really chasing passion. And it goes to a level, kind of, Ted, like you were saying, even to the life selections, right? I have a partner and I love my wife. We're about to get married on Halloween, and she completely supports me wanting to be a musician. And she doesn't worry about me on the road or any of that kind of stuff. And, seeing other friends riddled with divorce and, other things that do come from this industry can be a monster. So
it can be
really, like I said, 31 years old. I look at every aspect of my life training me for this industry. If I could put it down, I would. So
man, that's good. How about you, Nick? You feel the same way?
Yeah, I do feel the same way. I would definitely take a pay cut to pursue my passion. I've already talked to my girlfriend and our family situation, and we, what would happen and what the necessary steps we would need to take as a family to make this work. And she's just like Cody's wife. She's fully on board with me doing this if it gets to that point, and just wants me to be happy and pursue my passion, which, is a really, really big thing. And, like Cody was saying, that's where the personal life comes into play with a lot of musicians, and divorce and that kind of stuff. And I'm glad that she can see that, and she knows who I am. She knows, this metal thing is in our DNA, and the fact that she fully supports that, and we have a kid and we have a really good thing going right now, it just means the world. So I would have to agree with Cody on that.
I'll have to give a shout out to your wives. Right on. There's not that many people out there, wives or men that could, support in this industry. It is hard. I've been married 23 years, and, my wife's down, what I mean? So
that's a good one, man.
You gotta, it's a keeper, definitely. And, shout out to you guys for communicating. That's the key.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Definitely.
You guys got to communicate. Let's figure it out. Because most people, from what I hear and what I see and what I read, people just go for it without talking about it. Like, I'm going to go hell with this. Let's go have fun. But that's how things crumble. It's communication. So everyone listening out there, communication is key, man.
It's the key,
so,
man.
But I do wish you guys to get up there. You guys deserve it. I mean, the last time I saw you guys jam was at our Christmas show. That was fun, bro.
That was a lot of fun,
dude. I mean, it's stuck in me and Nick's ears. We actually both bought this up when we were testing our video and our audio, so we didn't waste your time with it. I was like, remember when he called us the ceviche of all openers? And
Oh, that was
Nick's
awesome.
like, oh my God, you stole the words out of my mouth. Ted comes up to us after a set. He's like, dude, you're the ceviche of this fucking show. And I'm like, dude, we love ceviche. Fuck yeah. But
I love ceviche too, man. No, that was a really good night. It was you, Hatriot, Warbringer, and us. I mean, how much thrash could you get? It was for you guys.
Yeah,
dude, we appreciate you having us on there again. You throwing us love as a lot of the Bay Area uncles do, and it just can't be ecstatic enough. Thank you. Like that was shoulder to shoulder. Like, dude, it was packed to the point where me and Nick snuck up to the rafters for your set. I think we got half the set up there, and then the security pulled us down. They almost kicked us out, but we were like, hey, we're with the band. They're like, don't do that again.
Yeah, I saw you guys up there. I was like, well, okay. I mean, do what you got to do. Just don't get hurt, man.
Yeah, no, we were cool. Yeah.
No, for those Christmas shows, I mean, the whole band always talked about like we should always try to give back to locals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You know, like just give back. Let people know what other bands are in the Bay Area. Like the first night was Hellfire. They were finishing up the tour with us, and we had Charger, which is Matt Freeman from Rancid, his band. So
yeah.
we're always like
on Pulse's channel recently.
In that whole US tour, we brought Hellfire and Exmored. It's like, you know what, man? Let's just, showcase some cool bands and cool dudes. Let's, if we could do it, why not? You know what I mean?
Especially Exmored, our good boy Conan back there. And I forgot to give him a shout out earlier. Check out Shred Talk on Twitch as well, too. Conan's a good friend of yours as well, too.
So, dude, those guys are ridiculous. Those guys are ridiculous. But I don't know what's in the water nowadays with you kids with all the shredding and drumming that's going on, dude. Do you think it's the YouTube era? Do you guys go to YouTube to figure things out?
Yeah, there's always that next level, man. Like even when sorry, Nick, not in your position, but when we met Alex Bent, right? We saw his videos. He tried out. He joined Hatriot, and me and my dad had a conversation like, Lady Gaga gonna pick him up in a hot second. You know what I mean? Like, say goodbye to this one. And I believe my dad was telling my brother, be ready. He gonna leave us. Alex he's a machine, man. I mean, now he's with the T-Boys, right? So one of the biggest animals out there. So, and very rightfully so. And good to see a good person like that leading the metal industry. You know what I mean? But so.
Yeah, I didn't take many lessons as a kid. I really just taught myself through YouTube. That was it, watching live videos. Like, man, I could count on one hand how many drum lessons I've taken in my entire life. It was mostly just like, monkey see, monkey do. Go on YouTube. What are they doing? All right, well, let's check that out. Run through that,
Yeah, we'd even asked Dad for lessons. I have before, and it's there we go. And he's like, Gary Holt didn't take lessons. You don't need lessons either. Figure it out, And then, like when I was first in Hatriot, it's all about shapes and patterns, right? I don't necessarily know the names, but I know what sounds good off mental and everything, right? So one of the guys was rather crucial on me, and it was a day that Costa actually had to go to New York for an emergency, and Glenn Avelize filled in for our first show. And Glenn's like, oh, I just know the shapes too. I don't know all their names. I'm like, it made me feel okay as a musician. I'm like, okay, Pops didn't screw me. We're good. Like, you know what I mean? So,
I mean,
nowadays,
there's those are players who delve in and who go by feel. I mean, it depends on how you want to go about it. You know what I mean? Right. But I totally hear you that, yep, Gary Holt didn't take lessons. Like, he just, I can see your dad saying that, dude. I have to give a shout out to your dad, Zet, man. I mean, super cool dude. I spent a lot of time with him on the road. We always have this thing before each time we go on. We always tell each other, have a good first song. Because if the first song is killer, then the rest of the set
it's all downhill from there, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like makes sense.
We watch each other's first song, and I'll look at him. I go, yeah. And there was one show. I'm not going to mention the city or the country because people might go. But I love that show.
Oh, but, no, yeah, you can't dog the people. Can't dog the people.
You can't. Where me and Zet had a bad show, and Zet goes, dude, I was striking out. I go, I was striking out too, dude. But I'm not going to mention. But I'll do mention the country. It was in England, but I'm not going to mention the city.
Okay, all right.
Popcorn from there, right?
Yeah. Let's get into this new record you guys are doing. I just saw that you guys started with Juan Ortega at Trident Studios, and you're starting to do the drum track. And before we get into it, Varun, who's in India, he's all the way out in India, sent in a question. Nick, Cody, I think I heard somewhere that the new album is more extreme metal influence or just more non-thrash influence in general. Is this true? And is there any particular band that pushed you in that direction?
Oof. Nick, you can take this one.
Well, shout out to Varun. I remember one time we played Slims with Exodus. He's a pretty honest person. He came right up to us and said, "Why don't you guys play the Fear Within? You never played the Fear Within." So I always love that honesty from him.
I do too, because he comes up to us and goes, "Why do you keep playing Claws In So Deep, man?" I'm like, you gotta love that honesty, man.
I love
that. Gotta love it,
right? Oh,
yeah,
man.
You can tell he's a true fan.
Yeah.
No, he definitely is. He definitely is. But we just kind of wanted to stray away from the thrash formula. I love thrash metal. Thrash is great, but we have so many other influences, being like Black Dahlia Murder, Trivium, Lamb of God, Death, Pestilence. There's so many other things that are that we have influenced by. Killswitch Engage, like just bands like that. And we're like, we need to start throwing those influences into our music. I think like the thrash metal thing's cool. We've done 3 albums like that, and there's still definitely thrash influence on this new one,
definitely.
But we're like, let's play around with this. Let's really take our time, write these songs, and just kind of stray away from the formula a little bit. And we found ourselves kind of going down a little bit more of an extreme metal path, as far as like, for me, way more double bass, way more blast beats.
I was going to ask you about blast beats.
Way more blast beats on this album. More hills and valleys,
crunching vocals, more death metal vocals, more
shrieking,
like
it's been the heaviest shit we've put out at times, and it's also been the lightest shit we've put out at times. Like, I'm really excited for everyone to hear this album because it's so dynamic and there's so many hills and valleys. So I don't know, Cody, if you want to talk about the vocals.
I mean, it's almost like, and I like this is kind of coming to the whole metal scene. Like, it's almost genreless now. The deathcore kids will play with the thrashers. The thrashers will play with the death metalers. And I hated when everything was segregated. And I felt like the elitists ruled the early stages of the internet and the MySpace days. It kind of kept everything separated. But then realizing that everyone enjoyed everything, that's kind of how the albums are coming out now. If you look on I believe our Instagram page, I describe us as we're American metal from the Bay Area, right? So what the Bay Area sounds like, what splashes we got. But dude, we grew up liking Gothenburg too. We grew up liking, different sounds and different noises. It wasn't necessarily only doing what Gary Holt did. So this is kind of a compilation of one song you'd be like, oh my God, this is Dahlia-esque. One song you're like, oh man, this is super death metal-esque. And like to the point where it all flows. It's not like you're changing the frequency up and down. It very much flows into itself and plays very well. So we're super excited. I cannot wait to get it out. And once this record comes out, unlike the last record with the 5-year lull before it, it's going to be a content machine moving forward that never stops churning. We already have a few songs ready for the next album that I got in a file ready to go, trying to keep up with my role model, Mr. Heafy, and just stay busy, man. That's all we can keep doing in this digital era. If I can't play shows, if booking agents aren't picking up, over any farther than outside a couple states or whatever, then we just got to stay busy. We got to keep going, So sorry if I ran off with that one.
That's really good. That's really good info. Yeah. I mean, have you guys decided to do like live stream the band, like how a lot of bands been doing?
Yeah. So early on Twitch, we actually use the Riot Room here, where we call, my pops named it that, but we use the Riot Room for a couple of live streams. And then like many of other bands, we're working on our laptop as well. So we actually have a beer coming out at Epidemic Ales in Concord. It's called the Haze into Darkness on September 25th. I can't guarantee it yet. We're going to look into their internet connectivity there and see if I can stream that as well too. So let alone, we're going to do a little secret pop-up set, maybe with a new song or two. But I'm also going to be running it on my Twitch page. We can plug that later on or later, comments or whatnot. But yeah, on the Twitch page, hopefully is where you can also see live Hatriot events. If you cannot see us locally, if I can add 20 more eyes in the world, it's that many more people that got to experience what we really love to do. And just grow from there. So.
Dude, man, you guys are no joke, dude. Let me ask you something about this new record thing. Mm-hmm. Are you guys signed with Massacre Records out in Europe?
Yes, we are with Massacre of Germany, correct, sir.
Now, is this record, are you guys funding it all yourselves and just handing it, using Massacre as a distribution?
No, so actually Massacre is we've been with Massacre for every single real release, full length release, and actually the partnership has grown and grown and grown, and you can catch on the Toxic Vault that we talked about. We're shopping everybody just like any businessman would. I told Juan that too. Had to shop every sound man too. Got to make sure we're getting the best bang for Hatriot's buck in our best interest, and landed with Juan again and landed with Massacre Records again. They wanted to do that much more for us. we pledged that we're going to be one of their top interests moving forward, and just trying to crush the world and take names, you know what I mean? So
dude, you guys have things under control, and your management happens to be Craig and Lum from Heathen. Am I correct? Shout out to Craig, man.
Yeah,
I like that
Craig
dude.
and Lum, our fearless leader, man. He was part of the Corona change, the Corona Hatriot turnkey, to where it's like, okay, man, I've been cool with the hobby status, but I need a manager that knows how I want to operate and how I perceive this band and perceive us, and get that back. And to have an agent that works with us, Exodus's management, and among others, so many other successful projects. Craig is a monster behind the scenes in the industry, as much as he is behind that fretboard too. So big shout out to Craig and Lum, man. He's really helping us take this thing off for sure. So.
All right, man. This new album, how many songs?
11
songs. And how long did it take you guys to write it?
all of Corona, about the last year. So yeah, I'd say as soon as what were you gonna say, Nick?
I was gonna say this was the first album where we wrote 3 or 4 songs that actually got scrapped.
Yeah, we actually
write stuff,
pulled a death clock and just completely
blow
blow songs up. It was a rigorous process for sure. So.
Were you guys doing this during this time? Were you guys writing separately, or were you able to get in a room and jam?
So as far as writing goes, Costa handles like 80-90% of the music. Nick will throw how the drum beat should go over the music's written, and then I'll throw lyrics on top of that. Kevin provided one whole song, which is a lot to ask for from our revolving door position. Hopefully it's Kevin forever. We love you, Kevin. But yeah, that's kind of how it goes. And do the digital era, like I said, I think it kind of got to the point in our jobs where we have a decent amount of money now, so we all do it digitally, and smarter, not harder. Let's not all drive out to Oakland and waste 4 hours of our time and nothing got done. Costa does the guitars at his house. He sends it to me. We'll lay the bass. We'll do the drums here in the Riot Room, and then I'll throw pre-production vocals on it. That song will go in a file, and unless we don't like it, it's ready for the studio at that point, or a demo or an EP or whatever. So I know I'm spilling our secret here, but we
no,
just
it's okay,
keep
man.
and we keep churning. Yeah. So,
but you do gotta get in a room and jam it though, at least one.
We jam once a week together. To all together, we have our studio every single Sunday. You'll see us go live on Facebook. It won't sound as good as Twitch because it's the phone mic, but we all do. Nicholas and Costa actually get together one day off the week for just guitars and drums jam. I'll practice our songs on Twitch to make sure my diaphragm is all in shape and ready for anything to happen and ready for the studio. That's been my prepper. And then we all get together on Sundays. So yeah, there's very much a family. Pops taught us it's not. A band isn't a band, it's a band. You're a band of guys, you're a band of buddies, arms around each other. Like, we try to sell that as much too, as it's a business, and it's our hobby and we'd love to do it. So,
dude, man, very inspiring, dude. Dude,
I'm trying, bud.
No, dude, this is great. It's always good to pass on the knowledge, man. It's just gotta help everyone out in the scene. We're all trying to survive in this, man. But dude, we're coming to a close here. But awesome. Before I give my guests Dirty Dozen 12 questions, I want to ask you guys, is there any good advice or good things you want to say for aspiring musicians? Because I know there's a lot of young musicians who's picking up the guitar or drums for the first time. And like I mentioned earlier, that band Tornadic, they just recorded a EP. I hooked them up with Carlos.
Those guys are rads.
Yeah. Carlos Cruz produced
Carlos
it.
Is the man.
Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure they love you guys. Hopefully if you could pass on some knowledge to them, I'm sure they're listening.
Yeah. I mean, just stay busy, stay hungry. Don't let your egos get in the way. I think one thing we were blessed on was James, when I met him at the Raider game one time from Metallica, he was just Dad's rocker friend, right? There's no one's going to come at me with an ego and strike me, right? And don't be the same to others. Humble pie, man. Let's be a team. Let's support other bands. Let's not have put downs. Stay hungry, stay diligent, could practice every day. I mean, the generics, if you want it, it's going to happen. Those are waiting for a handout. You may never see it. So, Nick.
Yeah, I would say, don't give up. We've been through fucking hell and back with, Hatriot and earlier bands, and you play a show with Death Angel in front of fucking 400 people sold out. And then a week later you go up north and you play a show in front of 40 people. And it's like, you can't let things like that discourage you.
Yeah.
Naysayers on the internet, even people that speak positive, you just kind of gotta just never give up on it. Just keep moving forward, keep chugging along.
Yeah.
Because if you're true and you're passionate, that's what'll always, the cream will rise to the top, and that's what will always
It'll
show.
show itself,
So,
yeah.
exactly.
2. All right, man. Okay, the Dirty Dozen's coming up. I'm gonna ask you guys 12
Uh-oh.
question, maybe a bonus question.
All right.
You ready?
I was nervous all episode for this, but I'm ready. Let's do
All
it.
right. Mild or spicy?
Spicy.
Nick.
Come
on, man.
It's been
Your
spicy.
brother's quick here. Come on,
Lately,
man.
it's been spicy.
Told you.
Lately,
All
it has
right.
been. Okay.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs lately. Yeah.
All right. A movie you could watch over and over.
Star Wars.
The Fridays, all 3 of the Fridays.
Fridays.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll go with that, dude. I'll go. What's your biggest pet peeve?
When people bite their fingernails.
I don't know why. I hate
Dude.
coughing. I hate when people cough. I know you can't help it, but it drives me nuts.
Dude, Nick. Derek Green from Sepultura said the same thing, I think.
Oh, really?
Nail biting or something like nail cutting or something like that. People are cutting
I don't know why. It
nails.
just grosses me
Dude,
out for
that's
some
sick.
reason. I don't know why.
Dude,
All
I
right,
hate
man.
when I cough. I hate when other people cough. Coughing sucks. Anyways.
All right. What time does your alarm clock go off every morning?
Here you go, rock stars. 4 a.m. every morning to get to that job in San Francisco.
Whoa.
6 a.m.
Wow, man. All right. What's your a song you love to sing when you're all alone?
Purple Rain
Catastrophist.
by Prince.
Oh,
I was gonna
Purple
say-
Rain, good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Catastrophist Trivium. I've been stuck on what the dead men say.
That's a good album, man.
Hey, the
That's a good album.
Catastrophist. No, don't get me going.
What's your dream vacation?
I don't know. I'm about to go to Hawaii for my honeymoon. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii, so I'll stay with that. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Never
Oh,
been.
man. Yeah,
on, Nick.
a cruise to a tropical paradise somewhere, I guess.
7,000
hopefully-
tons of metal.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Hopefully, you guys get on 70,000 tons of metal. You'll
That'd
like
be
that
fun.
one.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be sick. All right,
Yeah.
man. What's one thing about you that probably annoys others?
I'm kind of a loudmouth, and I don't mean to talk loud. I got it from my dad. You know how he is like everything is 11. So I'm a very intelligent, very smart being, but like I have this thing that I think the phone can't pick up volume or the mic, and I get closer and I get louder. So
You're
be a
excited,
loudmouth.
dude. You're
Yeah, I
just
can-
excited.
Yeah, I can be a loudmouth.
Nick.
Probably playing drums on a table while people are eating. Like just
Oh, yeah,
tapping
I get
drums.
it.
I
can
feel like
see
that would annoy me.
I can see that. All right. What's your favorite smell?
Fresh linen. You know those candles that are fresh linen? I don't know why. When me and Nick lived together, every room had a fresh linen candle.
Whoa. Woo. Hey,
It's just-
that's a
it's
good
just-
smell.
It overwashes the beer and puke of the beer pong table so well. You know what I mean? Back when we were bachelors. So-
All right. How about you, Nick? What's up?
The Pirates of the Caribbean smoky or like misty smell.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, that's hella new, bro.
That's awesome.
Killing it. All right. An instrument you wish you could play.
Piano. If you can do piano, you can do anything, right? So I wish
Pretty
I
much.
would have learned piano. Yeah.
Pretty much.
I wish I could be a better singer. I'm a terrible singer.
Me too. Me
Man.
too, man. I get bummed when I see dudes who could and girls who could belt it out. I'm like, ah, man, like, come
Yeah.
on, man. You
Yeah.
know, like, I mean, I have this thing, man, dude. I like Mariah Carey, man. That girl
No,
can sing.
Nothing
you know what
wrong
I mean?
with it, bro.
She could sing.
All I want for Christmas is you.
Get it, baby.
Yeah. But Adele takes it. All right, man.
Yep.
On a scale of 1 to 5, how good of a dancer are you?
1 being terrible,
Yes.
1.5.
I'll go 3 just because I'm a bass player, so I can find the bass and at least bob. But other than that, no. So I can blend with the crowd. That's about it.
All right, right on, man. I'm gonna give you a bonus question here. I just thought of this right now. Your least favorite Exodus album with your dad?
With my dad, probably Force of Habit as well.
Force of Habit.
Sorry, Johnny. And
I'm gonna get roasted by the chat for this. I hate to say it's Pleasures.
Pleasures of the Flesh.
Yeah.
I like the songs. I just don't like the drum sound.
Yeah,
No
the
drum
drum
tone on
tone was kind of bad on that. I don't know. Maybe it's just the production. If they had a better production on it, I think the album would resonate with me more. But that one just resonates with me the least.
Dude, guys, thank you very much for
Dude,
joining.
so epic of an episode. Thank you so
No,
much.
dude, I had fun, man.
Dude.
Dude, I've learned some stuff, dude.
Getting
Learned
after
some
it, man.
stuff, dude. But before we go, dude, and why don't you? The floor is yours. Promote whatever out there. It's you, man. Cody, Nick, say what you need to say to the world.
Yeah, man. I mean, like you said, you can catch myself on Twitch Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. It's an extension of Hatriot, of course, at 7 in California. Twitch.tv/Cody_Hatriot. On Thursdays, my brother joins me. You'll see that exact image with him right there. And we talk on our podcast. Any of our socials, man, follow the Hatriot, spread the word. You know, we call our fans the Riot Squad. So get the Riot Squad. So let's spread the word, man. And, you know, we want to do this in the best way that you can just tell a friend, hey, man, these guys rock. Check them out. And really, that's all we can ask for. Follows on YouTube and everything else. All the platforms we're kind of behind on. But spreading the word, Instagram, Facebook, and getting ready for the new album that's coming out, The Veil of Shadows, man. So.
Veil of Shadows coming out. Cody, Nick, thank you very much. Dude, I had fun, man.
Dude, I had a blast. This was awesome.
No, it's cool. I mean, Nick being the busiest guy and Cody's like, dude, what, you want me to wake up at 3 a.m.?
Yeah, I love that shit.
Dude? What's up, dude? But everyone, check out Twitch. Check out Cody's Twitch. What's fucked up? Everything, man. It's fun. I don't care, dude. Just go for some entertainment. And, you know, every now and then you have your dad, once a month?
Yeah, Pops tries to come on once a month. We do what we call Souza Palooza. I want to get Nick with his E-kit in here too, because it's a little easier to dial into the interface. And he'll be able to drum it off. Yeah. And I might put your fans on blast a little bit here. Ted may be trying to go to Twitch. He's got to come to my house, and I got to show him how to do this, though.
Yeah, I got to do
Let's see what's happening.
You know what's funny?
Yeah,
you did a shout out on one of your Twitch. You go, hey Ted, you got to get on Twitch, and your dad goes, no, dude, don't. He goes, he needs to go out there and work. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Did he say that? I think he said you did. He may have been talking to me or something like. Maybe
he was talking to you, dude. He goes, don't.
I don't know, man.
I remember, dude. I got the good memory here, bro.
All right, I'll trust you. But nothing love from me. I'm like the West Coast support for the Twitch guys. So, anyways.
Yeah, dude, I had fun. This was fun. I'm glad I got to.
Thanks, Ted.
With you guys. No, thank you, man. And everyone, check out Hatriot. They got a new album in the works. I know you guys are gonna put up some updates on your YouTube and Instagram. Definitely. I think everyone should check it out. You're recording with Juan Ortega. Killer room, killer place, and stick around when this is all over so we can chat for a little bit. All right, everyone. Definitely. Happy birthday, Darren Diggle. Thanks, everyone who's watching alive and streaming. Yeah. And hopefully I'll see you next week. I don't know who my guest is next week, but I'll figure it out. But I'm glad I got these two on because I had a blast.
He's a professional. It'll be awesome. So you guys be sure you're here next week at noon, man.
Right on, man. Streaming. All right.